Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's Wednesday, February 17th, and this is Ben Capozzi with Broad Shoulders Farm. We're farming in Virginia Zone 7 in Southside Virginia. All right, so yesterday and today were the first non-dreary days we've had in like a week. It's been cold and rainy and cloudy, and everything is just soaked and disgusting. But yesterday the sun came out most of the day, some clouds, and then today it's blue skies everywhere. It's wonderful. It's about 40 degrees. Yesterday it was like in the 50s. Tonight it's going to be 28, and then it's supposed to rain again all day tomorrow and just kind of hover around 30 all day. So that's, kind of annoying. And the next day, I think Friday is going to be kind of similar, unfortunately. But we've had the power. We lost the power for like a day or two over the weekend, which was inconvenient because we didn't have anything to power the pump. But we got through that. And I think starting like Saturday, yes, the nights are still like cold in the 30s. Looks like we have a night maybe coming up where it dips down into the upper teens, which sucks. But it then, like, the temperature raises like 30 degrees over the course of the day, and it's in like the upper 40s, 50s. It looks like maybe by the end of next week there may be some days in the 60s. So I feel like spring is trying to make an appearance, which is very good for the garden, and that's what I want to talk about today. Just give you guys a quick little update on that. So let me switch the camera around, and I'll do a quick tour of the garden. So I was just back here hanging out with the Merrick's flock and the main layers, and you can see a lot of the work I've been doing to bring down volunteer trees and clean up. Just kind of scrub brush and just crap. Definitely put my new chainsaw to use. Hey Stitches, how you doing? Good boy. And some of you may have never seen the garden though, so I don't know. You may find this interesting. I hardly did anything with it last year. On Monday the 8th, which was my birthday, turned 46, thank you very much. I asked my wife in lieu of gifts to see if she could help me out for a day on the farm, and she did. She actually helped me out Monday and Tuesday, and we got a ton done. We organized some stuff, and honestly, for the longest time, I hadn't been sharing any videos of what I was doing in the garden because it was just so messy and gross, and honestly, I was just kind of embarrassed by the clutter. But my wonderful wife came and helped, and now I feel much more comfortable talking about what the garden looks like and where we're going. So let me go around the rest of the Bantam run here, and we'll get to the center of the garden and talk about it. All right, so there's the back of the waterfowl home for gentle lads. South is that way. It's about 4:30, maybe getting close to 5 o'clock, so the sun is over there in the in the sun rises in the east. That's in the west. Duh, Ben. And so over there in the west. So the main beds. Hello, little red cap hen. The main beds are here. And there are 16 beds, or 14 that are really well shaped, and then there's 2 more that I need to redo again there on the end. But the rows are basically 30 inches wide with 16-inch walkways, give or take. I started out with that being pretty firm, and then at the end I just kind of worked with the width of the tiller. But that's roughly how they comport. They have been covered up with this silage tarp for the better part of a year, and I wound up not growing anything in here last year despite my plan because I had too many dang rogue chickens coming in here. There was no way I would be able to get anything planted without it being destroyed. So I've been working on keeping the waterfowl out of this area, and the bantams typically don't get out, but a lot of the standard sized chickens do, and they are getting ready to go. They will be moved out before anything is planted in here. So these are the main beds for mostly greens, but a lot of other stuff as well. I'm actually thinking about doing these last 2 beds on the end as raised beds so I could do some carrots. There's Cracker over there. There's all the guineas that spend their day they run over there and then they can't figure out how to get out, but they eat with the duck and the geese food, and then they spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how to get over here, and I'll always have to herd them at the end of the night. So there's these 16 beds, which are pretty much the main where I'm going to be putting in stuff for the market garden. I've got 4 beds here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the intention. I think I'm going to use this as a cutting garden. So I'm going to do sunflowers, and I have a bunch of other snapdragons and floral arrangement type things that I'd like to get to add over here. Last year, and I'm going to do this again this year, we've got this trellising set up here. This is where we've got 7 rows, and we did tomatoes. On trellis, we did tomatoes, and we under sowed them with basil. And this year I may do radishes and then basil, so we'll just see. But had basil all under here, a good companion plant for that. I did 31 varieties of tomato last year. And then they got completely jungly and out of control. But I did get a good sample of ones that I really liked. So we're gonna do fewer varieties this year, but I still want to try some new ones. One big problem I had last year was tomato blossom end rot, which from my reading is the result of the lack of calcium available to the tomato plant. So as I've come across either eggs that are too small, that are not going to make it for our dozens that we give to our customers, or like young pullet eggs or clutches of duck eggs or even chicken eggs that I find that have been abandoned, I've just been throwing them in the rows here because that's a nice source of calcium that I have available. And what I'll do is when I get ready to kind of shape these beds up again, I will plow through the middle, I'll till through the middle, throw all the soil up on the sides, because this is actually the bed. This is the walkway. So I have all that set up, and that will break up the calcium, and that'll all be in there, busted up. I remember, I think Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm talked about an old farmer once told her to bury a egg with every tomato that she planted, and she said she had good luck with that. So this is basically a less specific but generally the same kind of attempt I'm gonna make at doing that. But there's 7 trellises here, and it'll, like I said, it'll all be underplanted with basil, and I may do carrots, maybe like on the north side, I'm not sure. We've got really heavy clay soil, so I'm gonna do like oxheart carrots or Parisiennes or something. I can't really do anything outside of a raised bed that is you know, particularly long or lengthy carrot. I could do like Danvers half longs or something like that probably. And then the back here, I think is about 5 feet out from here to there. I didn't have this covered this winter, so you can see that a lot of it is not dead, but I think I can probably do corn back here, or I may even wind up doing an asparagus row back here. Asparagus is a good companion for tomatoes, and you know, I can do other vining crops on this as well, so I could alternate like tomatoes and cucumbers. All my squash and melons are gonna go back in here. This is the winter quarters. If you see my other videos, this is where the chickens are working on it. And as soon as the weather gets less miserable, I have a team of goats that I'm gonna be borrowing from my friend Amy at Francesca's Dawn Farm. And they're gonna help clear all of this crap out. Then we'll have a big bonfire, burn up what's left. And then I'll till it up and get the beds prepped. And this is, in here is where the melons and squash will be planted. Then I have this one last section here, and I haven't really formed it into rows yet. I did like 1 row last year of squash, and the chickens kept getting in here and just decimated it, so it was completely unproductive for me. But it's been covered up most of the winter, more or less. I finally got my sandbags filled. I've been slowly filling them. That was another thing my wife helped me with. They'd been blown all over the farm, and she and I collected them and have started filling them. I'm definitely going to do garlic over here, and I'm not sure what else I will be adding over here, but there's room for at least 4, maybe 5 rows here. I don't have that much garlic, but I do have garlic ordered, and we will be doing some garlic there. So there's all of that. This is all bed space that I've got available for the market garden, which I think is more than enough for me to take care of. Got these two old chicken houses here that will be either reconfigured or completely taken apart and placed elsewhere. They could go over to the rooster run, but I'd like to put a greenhouse here of some kind just for seed starting. I used this last year as my kind of preparation table, but again, chickens would get up here and just kind of ruin things, so it didn't work very well. This year is all about getting the chickens out of this area, but I think this is a good spot to put some kind of greenhouse. I have a bunch of old windows from after our house fire a few years ago that I've gotten a stack up here, and I'm going to use them you know, in kind of inside of some kind of frame, and get a really nice greenhouse set up here. Just briefly, the waterfowl area, I'm gonna change it into the composting area, and I'm gonna move all of the waterfowl accommodations over here to the other side of this fence. And you can see the T-post out there. They come in, then they come down, they come back over. So the ducks and the geese are gonna have a much smaller overnight area. I'm gonna build them a much nicer house though. And this way they will be right on a gate that opens right out into the orchard for them to go out and browse, instead of going right out over there and running over and eating my father-in-law's family yard, which he does not want them to do anymore. So I'll be taking care of that. This spot right here, this is where the asparagus bed used to be. There was a bed that was pretty much expired. It stopped producing about the year that the chickens came in, and it was about 30 years old. It had been planted by my wife's grandfather before, and he passed in the 90s. He was in his 90s, but it was also the 1990s, and so that bed had expired. But I'm going to redo this as 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've already got the drainage channels in here. The water can come down here, collect in here, and go down. It was filling up this pond for the ducks. That'll change, but each of these little islands here, I'm going to do a mix of perennial vegetables. So I'm going to do rhubarb, asparagus, horseradish, and strawberries on all 4 of these. I'll straighten the fence up again. This was all bent over last year when the original duck house blew over, not once but twice, and it really kind of wrecked a lot of stuff. Killed one of my chickens. There's still a little bit of stuff here that I need to clean up, but like my wife came and helped clean up so much of this. It was great. And so we have a lot of space available. Let's see, look at that. Gotta fix this. It actually bent the T-post, and I don't have a way to straighten them back out. I just need to drive them down deeper. I may redo this whole fence line here, I'm not sure. But all of this is going to be garden space this year and in the years to come. And if you follow any of my Instagram feed, you've seen that I've already got, I think I've got, I can't remember, 21, 38, something like that, different flats that are germinating at a friend's greenhouse for a very nominal fee. I think it's about 1,600 plants I'm up to right now, individual plants that will be done here at the end of this month, early March. So my job over the coming weeks here, as we get closer to the end of the month, once the weather turns slightly favorable at least, and everything is not just soggy as all get out, is to pull back the occultation tarps that have been obscuring the light, making it an occult or hidden matter, which makes the planting bed very, very sanitary. But my job will be sanitary in terms of weeds. It's sanitary, it helps sanitize the bed. It kills a lot of things that try to germinate under there, and then they don't make it, and it kind of exhausts the weed seed bank under there. But my job will be to retill and kind of touch up these rows a little bit, reshape these, reshape those, so that we will be ready to start bringing stuff in. And I've even got floating row cover if we're gonna get more cold snaps. We usually don't get our last frost until about tax day, about mid-April here. But last year there was actually a frost on May 5th, and it actually set back a lot of farmers in the area. They lost a lot of crops that usually after April 15th you're safe to plant things out. So I've got floating row cover that I've never used before, but I've got the equipment to do it. So I'll be getting all that set up as well. And everything that's in the greenhouse right now is just hardy, frost hardy things. It's a bunch of varieties of spinach. It's lots of kale, Swiss chard. Nothing that needs really hot weather has been sown yet. We're not getting anything started, though it's not a bad time maybe to, in another few weeks, to go ahead and get my tomato seeds over to my friend so he can start germinating them in his greenhouse, because those will, you know, take six to 8 weeks or so, and they will be ready. So that's where we are. I'm pretty excited about it this year. I've got a lot of plants, a lot of different varieties, a lot of things I've never grown before, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. I hope wherever you are staying warm and safe. My heart breaks for so many of my friends in Texas who are just, you know, just really having a hard time with something they're absolutely not used to dealing with. Like I said, things here are gross, but with the sun out these past 2 days, it's really literally brightened everyone's day. It's going to get dreary again for a little bit, but it's not going to be dreary forever. And real quick, I'll just show you, when you have this tarp up, you know, again, it's super wet and everything, but it looks like here it's been killing some wiregrass. Look at all those bugs. Man, I should call over the ducks, the worms and everything. But let me see if I can find a different part of the bed. And I'll show you what this does. This is a European technique, and I learned it from Jean Martin Fortier and Maude Helen, his wife, Maude Helen, in their book and in his masterclass, The Market Gardener. So it's not like this is anything that I came up with, but you just take these durable silage tarps and you cover stuff up, and the bed becomes completely sterile. So once I can uncover this and the weather is a little warmer and things are drier, this will till up beautifully and shape some really nice beds that will have very little weed pressure. And you know, it's kind of weird for me to look at all this now, because I've been up here working on this since 2018, that fall. We got chickens in that spring. And, you know, I'm kind of used to seeing this like this now, but I'll have to post some pictures. But this whole area up here was just pasture. I mean, it looked, I guess the closest thing would be this little area in here, but even this was a rooster run for 2 years before we moved the lads over to the bachelor pad. It was just undeveloped pasture. I mean, it had at one time been Grandpa Ralph's garden, but then, like I said, he died in the 90s, and then it all just became overgrown. And so we've been clearing it out with the chickens over the course of a few years, and they've been adding their fertility as well as just decimating the weeds and the grass. And then we've tarped it all after we formed the beds, so that can further kind of exhaust the weed seed bank. But sorry, cold. I'm just really impressed by how this is shaping up into, you know, a really goodly sized market garden again. I'm really excited about it. I think we're going to be able to build our business, earn some new customers, and deliver some things to the market that other farmer vendors don't have. So that's all pretty exciting, and that's what this is about. It's about building a family business that can sustain my wife and our dog kids and all of our livestock, and hopefully someday, you guys, you have crushed oyster shell over in the duck run. You guys are crazy. And hopefully our own kids someday. So that's what we're working on. Questions, comments, concerns are always welcome, and helpful critique. So yeah, all right, take care, stay safe, stay warm, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.